So, we're going to talk today, obviously, about entrepreneurship, but more specifically, what to do if you just absolutely suck at it and you are making no progress.
I don't think you have to suck. Well, you don't have to suck at it for the topic, though.
Oh, no?
You chose violence today. No, I mean, the topic, as you probably could see by the title, is when you can't hack it full time as an entrepreneur, then what should you do, right?
That's a nicer way of saying it.
Yeah, this is Thanksgiving. By the way, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
in a couple
Thanksgiving.
days. Ronnie chose war this morning. But no, when you can't hack it, right? When you can't hack it as an entrepreneur, or you suck at it, because that's common also.
There's a learning curve.
Yeah, there's a learning curve. It takes time. Not everyone comes from maybe an upbringing where they're familiar with business or entrepreneurship. Not everyone was necessarily taught how to be an entrepreneur because it's a different skill set. Mm-hmm. It's a different mentality. You're constantly scared as an entrepreneur. You're constantly fearful, right? You're constantly worried. There's a portion of time where you're constantly uncomfortable if you choose to be full-time as an entrepreneur. And not everyone can hack it full-time, at least maybe not in the beginning or maybe not in their first attempt. So what do we do in those cases? So that's the topic for today.
I think first you have to decipher a few factors. Now, the answer to this question is going to be...
Wow.
Yes.
Impressive.
Yes, thank you. You have to consider a couple of things when you're thinking about how do I get my business up and running. So, for example, if you're younger, you're single, you don't have a lot of responsibilities, maybe your bills aren't very much, you live pretty conservatively, then it's a lot easier to kind of go through that struggle period while you're learning the business world.
Right.
Not a lot of people are depending on you. Maybe no one's depending on you. That's the ideal circumstances, but let's be real. A lot of us either are married, you have kids, you have responsibilities, you got a mortgage, you have rent, you've got bills. Life is happening while you're still trying to get your business running.
Yeah, some people find entrepreneurship later on in life, especially today because it's really popular now. It wasn't always as popular as it is today. Obviously, I think everyone always probably wanted to work for themselves, but with social media and business media and everything now, everyone's being told, hey, you should go into business. Hey, you should have a business. Hey, you should have a business. I mean, there may come a time in the world when like half the population owns a business and the other half works for the other half. I don't know. But sometimes people find entrepreneurship late, but the ideal dream scenario would be, the one you see on TV, right? I'm 16 years old. I got an entrepreneur hunger. I'm really smart and I'm creating an app in my, my bedroom in between doing my homework, or I'm 18, 19. My parents fully support me. I live at home. I sleep on my mom's couch still. And I'm chasing the dream, and my parents are like all in for it. Obviously, that's like the ideal textbook scenario.
Right.
Not the common
scenario. It's very
scenario.
rare.
Yeah, not the common scenario. In our industry, in our business, we meet people who are professionals in a lot of cases that have careers already, whether it's medical field, law enforcement, military, whatever it may be, engineering. And they're looking for a way into entrepreneurship, or they're looking for a way to add another source of income to their family's household cash flow, or whatever it might be. And yeah, clarity on the goal is a huge thing, especially when you're starting something new.
Mm-hmm. So in that scenario where somebody has a career, do you feel like that's a disadvantage, having to work full-time but also trying to build a business on the side?
No, I don't think it's... no, I mean, if I was to take a case study over the last 13 years of business, I actually think part-time people who have full-time careers typically, in most cases, tend to do better in business.
Why?
Because, well, here's the reality. A full-time business with no cash flow that's failing, that's not the dream. I'm more impressed by a part-time entrepreneur who's winning than a full-time entrepreneur who's losing. Mm-hmm. You know, I would rather you... I love working with people who have a full-time career and they're like, hey Jay, but I want to make another $200,000-$300,000 a year on the side. Like, I love my job as a nurse or a doctor or an engineer or a dentist, but shoot, do I want to do this for 30 years though? No. So yeah, let me carve out some time to do something else on the side and see if I could get out of my job. That's the dream scenario. There's no pressure financially. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember being 21, getting my license, losing my opportunity with the fire department at that moment, getting into business, trying to figure out how to sit with the client, explain what we do and close, and collect a check and get some sort of success. And I remember my buddy driving me to an appointment in his mom's minivan. It's funny thinking about it now. And he actually went in on the appointment with me. I don't know what I was thinking, but he went in on the appointment with me, and we both sat at the table, and my client sat to the right, and it was like this little bar top table. And I remember doing a presentation, and the whole time, all I could think about is, oh my God, I got to pay my bills. And it was in my head the entire time. It was the only thought in my mind, is if I don't close, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. If I don't close, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. And getting to the end of the appointment and being so nervous because I didn't want to screw it up, I was thinking it was going good, but I wasn't confident on how to finish the job. And I remember just sitting there going like, dude, I've got to close this. I got to close this. I'm there, but I don't know what to do. That pressure was because that was bad pressure. It was pressure like in our last episode. It was pressure by the fact that we had no money. Mm-hmm. So when I get a nurse who comes in business that's making $150,000 a year, and you know, like a California nurse, right, or whatever it may be, whether the client says yes or not doesn't change whether or not their bills are paid. It's so much more fun.
So what would you say to someone who, as you know, quote unquote, can't hack it full time, but they're adamant on, I'm an entrepreneur. I cannot stand to have a boss. Like, I would rather go broke than have a boss.
Well, I mean, the first question is, have you tried, right? Have you tried full time? I think that's the first thing, at least with us, right? Someone comes in business and both. How many people would you say that start with us? How many of them start part time?
The majority of them.
Probably 85, 90% out of 100, right? Maybe probably closer to 90 to 95 out of 100. Start part time. They have a full time job. You start part-time, you prove that you could make some money, and then what do? Then maybe you go full-time, you give it a shot. The reality is you give it a shot, how'd you do? You know? Like Brittany, for example. Brittany's an example of when COVID happened. She's an occupational therapist, makes a six-figure income. COVID happened. Jobs slowed down. No one was going to school, right? And she works in the school. And so she had an opportunity, like, by God now, to have a chance to actually experience what the business could be if she was full-time. Had she made that decision outside of the pandemic? I don't know. Probably eventually, but at that point in her career, probably not. Well, then she went full-time and realized, damn, I'm actually really good at this thing. But what happens, though, if you go full-time and you don't make money or you don't make it? That you can't hack it, right? Like, this is exactly what it is. Like, at the end of the month, you're short on your bills. That's fine every once in a while, but at the end of the month, you're short again. You're short again. You're short again. It's probably not that you suck at the business. It's that you suck at thinking and making decisions. You know, you suck at executing your supposed plan. Like, you might suck at getting out of bed in the morning and getting your ass to work. Right? It's not that you necessarily suck at what we do. It's not that you suck at your skills. It's all the other stuff is the stuff that's amounting to you being short on your rent or your bills or your mortgage every month. So I think the first thing is that if you can't hack it, well, did you try? Did you try full time? Mm-hmm. Now, if you tried full time, and the other thing though is then that same person will go, well, yeah, but I didn't actually try. Okay, well then that means you couldn't hack it. Like you're not grown enough to get your ass to actually work.
Right.
So that was part of what we just discussed. Okay, the whole I didn't try one-on-one on the basketball court and you lose and you go, I didn't even try. Like, okay, you're a loser. That's why you lost. So, but let's pretend you tried. And you actually tried. Because we have some people in business that like, with love, I say it, that the chance of them really like crushing it full time, like they just like don't quite got it yet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then others come in and do this just like smacking home runs right out of the gate, But if you tried and it didn't work, then what?
I think you, as an adult, still have to fulfill the responsibilities that you have.
Right. So do you continue to sink the ship or do you adjust?
No, you got to cut your losses.
And is cutting your losses you giving up?
No.
No. So then what does it mean?
It means you going to get a job so that way you can pay your bills and not have that bad pressure on your back every single day when you're sitting with clients or, whatever your business is of I have to close or else my lights are going to get turned off. That's not good pressure. That's really bad pressure.
Right. Yeah, man. But I killed it under that pressure.
But you're very rare. It's very rare where somebody can perform at a high level under that kind of stress. Most of us can freeze or just completely crumble under that.
I can remember those moments like yesterday, like literally like yesterday, like walking around the office going, oh my God. Whew. Like, mm-hmm. But that's like that fourth quarter, 2 minutes left on the clock. Like that's prime time. But yeah, but a lot of people, most people, Dan always says most people crumble out of that. There's nothing wrong with getting a job. Mm-mm. The number one rule of business is to remain in business. It's to stay in business. To go into business, not make it, and then leave business, that's failure, right? The number one rule is to stay in business. Even if I'm not staying in business full time, I'm still in business. Even if I'm not making money, I'm not profitable, I'm still in business. That's the beauty, right, of having a job while you're in business is it does not require business to be profitable right away every single month. But because you have a job and your bills are still paid, you're allowed to keep your doors open and stay in business. Mm-hmm. So if someone can't stay in business, what's worse? Someone coming in business, trying it full time, they couldn't hack it. So they get a job, they stay in business, and then they start winning. That or someone comes in business, they try it full time, they couldn't hack it. So they leave and go get a job. And now they're not in business at all. But how often do we see both happen? Right? The second one happens the most.
Yeah.
They leave and go, oh, it wasn't for me. No, dude, like, if not. And here you are at Pet Boys as if that was for you. You know what I mean?
Right. There's nothing wrong with making slow progress. Yeah. It just comes down to you recognizing, okay, this is going to take me longer than I initially thought to get going. Because business isn't simple all the time. It's not easy all the time. And you do have to put in a lot of work up front. And so if you having a job and putting your pride aside and getting a job that will pay the bill so you can take care of your responsibilities and be able to work on your business in your free time without worrying about bills, that is the best case scenario.
Yeah, 100% every single time. It's better to just stay in the game, enjoy the journey, not be set on getting rich overnight. And there's no shame in getting a job. What's shameful is when you're foolish and your ego gets in the way and your pride is keeping you broke and your ego is keeping you stuck. Like that's the thing that's shameful. you going and getting a job, like an actual career or whatever, just that allows you to enjoy the business, that allows you to enjoy it. This has to be an enjoyable process. You're not going to be good at it if you're miserable.
No.
And so keeping the bills paid, I mean, that's everything. It doesn't mean that you sell out and you just go get a job right away because you don't like pressure. Pressure is good, but do you thrive under pressure? Do you get the job done under pressure? That allows you to keep your doors open.
And the answer is in the results. If
Yep.
you have not had results, then you are not good under pressure. So, food for thought.
Damn, like that?
Right? I mean,
I guess so.
if you thrive under pressure and you're under pressure and you're not thriving, it's kind of a,
Yeah.
then you don't.
Yeah, so if you're here and you're trying to win, and here's the thing, you guys. If you're struggling, it's okay. Get a job. Try, or just drive Uber. Something.
Yeah.
Just do something that allows you to stay in business, take a little bit of the pressure off yourself so you could do this and do it well.
Amen.
Boom! We out.